Introduction. The plastic product manufacturing industry processes plastic into intermediate or final product and also semi-product or product with practical value. The processes are including compression molding, extrusion molding, injection molding, blow molding, plastic welding, plastic thermoforming, plastic foaming, and plastic casting. The plastic product industry usually manufactures polymer material that commonly called plastic and offers services in plastic industries such as packaging, building and construction, electronic, aerospace, and transportation because it is very important to people. Every plastic products manufacturing factory must have risk assessment regularly to create high quality goods. After that, the employees must follow all the time the proper training and procedure to measure that to keep employees safe while working with the electrical appliance. Risk assessment also will ensure that the equipment is appropriately built, while it is insulated and electrical panels are closed. Purpose of study. The purpose of writing this assignment report is to analyze and identify what are the risk assessment strategy for Polyplastic Asia Pacific Sdn Bhd to prevent fire to occur again in future. Moreover, other purpose is how to identify and handle unexpected risk professionally as a surveyor. As a surveyor, we will identify the problem or issue like threat and weaknesses of Polyplastic Asia Pacific Sdn Bhd, and we will suggest the suitable risk assessment plan to the company based on their property. Furthermore, we give the way to countermeasure the company to prevent risk and reduce risk from occur again. Background of company. Polyplastic Asia Pacific Sdn Bhd is an enterprise incorporated on 7 March 1997 based in Malaysia that currently operates in the all other plastic product manufacturing sector, and the main factory is in Kuantan. The main shareholders or parent company is Polyplastic Co Ltd, which is located in Japan. The nature of business for Polyplastic Asia Pacific Sdn Bhd is manufacturing, sale, and trading of engineering plastic. The company's line of business include the manufacturing of synthetic, resin, plastic material, and elastomers.
Problem statement or issue. On 18 February 2021, a plastic manufacturing factory was destroyed by fire, which was accompanied by many loud explosions. The witness said that he heard almost 20 explosions during the incident. The fire broke out in the compounding line was immediately extinguished after the arrival of Kuantan Fire and Rescue Department. There were no injuries reported. Polyplastics intend to begin the repair of the damaged compound line, which mostly manufactures POM compound products, within the following 2 weeks after the incidents. Nature of loss. Polyplastics Asia Pacific Sdn Bhd is a manufacturer of synthetic resins, plastic materials, and non-vulcanizable elastomers. On 18 February 2021 at 7:20 p.m., Polyplastic reported that a fire broke out on the compounding line. The major cause of the incident was an explosion caused by incorrect handling of the machinery, which was intended to be handled with care and in accordance with standard procedure. The operation of the POM polymer line, which is separate from the compound line, has been unaffected. The estimation of loss due to fire broke out that day are about 800,000 ringgit and does not involve any injury or loss of life. The breakdown of the factory was including the building, machinery, tools, equipment, and stocks. An area of 2,500 square meters was destroyed by fire. The laser cutter used in the production of POM polymer is damaged. Using an infrared laser, the laser cutter was applied to precisely and neatly cut the POM sheet. The raw materials used in the production of POM compound product is flammable properties such as polymerization formaldehyde. The flammable properties releases vapor that may combine with air to generate and explosion.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Haziq, and now I'm going to explain to you the risk assessment. What is risk assessment? Risk assessment is a process to survey risk in order to look at workplace to identify things, situation, processes, and others that may cause harm, particularly to people. Next is also involving a process of identifying, analyzing, controlling, and or in order to determine, eliminate future loss or to control the post loss. Beside that, risk management frameworks is also the strategy provide the direction for successfully implementation of the risk management plan by complying with the regulatory bodies and standards. It's also increasing the resilience and by creating an effective direction to achieve short-term goals and long-term survival goals of the company. Alright, next, according to our case, the type of survey we have been undergo is post-loss survey. What is post-loss survey? Post-loss survey that we conducted is a method where to assess the reason on how was the building or the plastic manufacturer explode. As we know, in the case, the plastic manufacturer that explode is at Kuantan, Pahang, where there was a loud explosion heard and the manufacturer was destroyed due to fire. Beside that, the post-loss intention is to identify the inceptions and propagation of the losses that occurs or might occur during the explosions. And post-loss also knows to know the severity of the loss and to know the impact suffered by the manufacturer. So, in order to have a post-loss survey, we need to have a post-risk assessment framework or strategies. Before that, a risk assessment framework is a strategy for prioritizing and sharing information, and process of the framework itself is to recognizing, assessing, and managing potential business threat. A strategic framework also is important as we might be able to identify the level of the risk, the severity happen, and also be able to know the estimation of loss that have occurred, especially in the post-loss survey. Beside that, post-survey strategy is used is loss analysis through the loss inspection, where the loss being inspected on its evaluations on the damages that the factory experienced. Other than that, loss inspection is also being used for assessing during the post-loss survey post-loss survey, which in result can be used to determine on suggestion or what way can be used in order to reduce the potential risk to occur in the future or to avoid them to occur again in repeated again. So, under the loss inspection strategy that we have been used, we were able to assess the causes of explosion and how and what makes the fire spread. According to the loss inspections, the main cause of the fire that occurs in plastic manufacturer in Kuantan, Pahang is due to faulty machinery where it's not being handled with care with the standard operation procedure that they should be followed. For examples, the potential machines that can cause an explosion is blow molding machines that involve high temperature in its process. Beside that, we also be able to identify the propagation loss or propagation of fire through the loss inspection, where the fire spread easily in the factory is due to the material used in the factory is highly flammable, such as ethylene. As we know that ethylene is one of the substances that are being used in plastic manufacturing. So it is highly flammable materials that can react to fire easily. On the other hand, the building conditions also can be a indirect cause of the fire to spread, because the building was partially made by concrete and partially made with the wood, which are not suitable for plastic manufacture. So next, under the loss inspection, we not only just can get the causes of the fire, but we also be able to identify whether the cause of fire is arson. Loss inspection that have been used is to find whether the cause of fire is due to arson, which means Is there any intent of someone that are trying to intentionally burn or damaging the property? And it's important for us as a loss surveyor to identify, to know whether the fire occurs due to attitude of the employee itself or due to negligence that are being occurs by the employee itself. So it's very important. So the loss inspections make us be able to determine whether the causes of the fire and explosion that occurs to the factory is due to arsons or intention of someone that intentionally to set up or to burn and damaging the property.
Third, whether risk address of premises described in policy is the same as the premises where fire broke out. We must confirm that the explosion is the same address in the policy agreement that has been made by the owner factory. Next, for the loss assessment, first is damage caused to property by water during the extinguishing of fire by fire brigade. As we know that when fire was occur, it will involve fire brigade that will help to put off the fire. We can see that the walls of the building are destroyed. Second is damage caused to property by smoke due to fire. When the fire is raging, we can see that there will result fire with smoke. We can see that the walls, the building covered by smoke, and the machine broken because of
So
smoke.
we have been assessing the losses that occurs in Kuantan Pahang through the loss inspection, and loss assessment. We as a surveyor suggesting them to use the risk management step in order to control and to prevent the losses to occur repeated again. It is because this risk management step that we going to use is loss preventions and loss controls. This two method is quite useful and suitable for the plastic manufacturer in order to avoid any losses or event that might occur against to the property.
Next is risk management step. As we have done assessing through loss inspection and loss assessment framework, we found that the implementation of the risk management step is based on the risk control, such as loss control and loss prevention as the most suitable technique. Firstly is loss control. The loss control that can be made for the factory is by ensuring the machinery equipment inside the building are in good condition by make monthly or yearly inspection. Beside that, ensuring the materials inside the building are kept in the safe and suitable place. Other than that, any machinery that are involved with high heat operation also need to take with care as to avoid any leakage. And lastly, ensuring all the material used for the building structure is made from non-combustible such as walls, floor and roof. Secondly is loss prevention. For material, the prevention of loss can be taken in measurement in where they need to place the substances that can easily on fire while kept in safe place. Next, staff awareness training is a must in order to prevent loss to occur, especially when using the high pressure machinery.
Okay, so the next part is we are going to discuss about the possible outcomes of the post survey. In this section, we are going to divide the outcome into two, which is the outcomes towards us as a surveyor and possible outcomes to the building. First of all, from this survey, we had able to understand better on conducting post-survey towards a property that had been burned down by fire. We had learned several things, such as how to do a proper evaluation on post-fire factory and how to collect information and make physical inspection. Besides than that, we had also successfully provided Polyplastic Factory some risk management techniques that they can use in order to prevent and control the risk better. This led to the possible outcomes to the polyplastic manufacturing factory itself. If they follow all the recommendations that we suggested, it will help them in order to reduce the chance of the factory to get involved in fire accidents again. And even fire occur again, it will be less severe if to compare with the previous incident. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to talk about challenges that we face while conducting the post survey at Polyplastic Manufacturing Factory. Okay, so firstly, the challenge is regarding the condition of the building. As the building was just burned down by fire, so there are some difficulties for us to inspect it. However, we managed to do our survey successfully and come up with our own result. The challenge that we face is we were lack of information, as it is hard to get solid information from the management of the factory, so we decide to do some questionnaire and physical inspection in order to gain the information. Okay, so beside than that, there are also some challenges in order for insurer to impose an effective insurance policy towards the insured of Polyplastic Manufacturing Factory. The first one is caused by the design of the building. For example, poor design, low quality of building material, failure system, especially safety system. It will be challenges in order to reduce frequency and severity of risk at the factory. The next challenge will be regarding moral hazard. For example, people that are giving poor attention to safety at workplace, people with less information regarding risks and accidents, and the worst part is people that have a bad moral behavior that could lead for accident to occur. For example, they believe that accidents won't occur and didn't take a proper precautions to avoid it. It will simultaneously increase the chance for the accidents to happen.